130 horsepower at 750 kilos. Today's test track candidate is a featherweight with plenty of power. The combination of small car and big performance is typical of the Vienna car customizer Karl Abarth, also known as Carlo. He developed a real masterpiece in 1966 with the Abarth OT 2000. Following a long service life, the Abarth is venturing out on its maiden voyage on our test track.
This is the
Abarth 2000. It is a special design of the old Fiat 850 that Mr. Abarth converted and which became a very hot machine, not like the old 850, which was legendary in its own time. The basic version of the Fiat 850 Coupe is only slightly sporty. The rear engine and drive promise good traction and fun turning en masse. The 58 horsepower of the 900 cubic centimeter aggregate just isn't enough. That's what Carlo Abarth figures as he fits a vastly larger engine into the tight engine bay of the Fiat Flea. This is the 2-liter Abarth engine. This is perhaps the biggest one that you could possibly fit into the back of this type of Fiat. And you can see how it hangs quite a bit back behind the rear axle. This amounts to a very willful driving behavior, and that is also the reason Mr. Abarth put the spare tire so far to the front, in order to put a counterweight at the front. The Abarth scores on the cone course with good traction while the engine permanently screams for speed. This isn't a vehicle for drivers afraid to switch gears. It starts to build power at 6,000 RPM, it's there at 7,000 RPM, and then you have to let off again, otherwise you'll break the engine. A lust for speed, typical of the well-bred engines from the house of Abarth. Hans OT 2000 isn't original, but a true-to-detail replica of the Italian runabout. The only difference, the weaker motorization. The only 3 real OT 2000s manage a full 185 horsepower from their 2-liter racing engines. In 1966, they cost as much as a contemporary Ferrari and were just as fast. Today, they are part of exclusive collections. Our test track vehicle only reaches 130 horsepower with the engine from the Fiat Ritmo Abarth. That's enough, though, to get the little car racing around the test track. You have to know what to do with the car. If you know that, you'll really be fast, and if you don't, then you're out. The Abarth is always good for a surprise. Luckily, Hans knows what he's doing. With an iron fist, he leads the OT 2000 around the narrow test track. A lap time of 21.78 seconds is more than acceptable for a maiden voyage. It places the Abarth between the Opel C Kadett and the Mustang Boss, in 14th place on the perpetual top list, Bellissimo. Hans is also happy with the result and takes a few quick laps around the track. The Abarth driver can't get enough, but at some point the day must draw to a close. It's soon time to draw some conclusions. World class. You've just really got to experience this car. It's a real racer from the old school. You just have to drive it. It has a lot of things that create a lot of difficulties, but if you can cope with that, you're going to be really happy because it just sprints forward so quickly. So, release a few more happy hormones before the Abarth disappears to the garage again for a long time.